Hi everyone, let's read this problem. Stefan placed all rational numbers in set C, all integers in set B, and all whole numbers in set A. Which of the following diagrams shows the numbers placed in the correct sets? Okay, so let's go ahead and circle and underline our important information. So we have, I'm going to use a highlighter, and we have rational numbers are set C. So I'm also going to use that highlighter to highlight my diagrams. I have all integers in set B, and I have all whole numbers in set A. Okay, so we circled or underlined our important information. We want to box in our question. Which of the following diagrams shows the numbers placed in the correct sets? Which of the following diagrams shows the numbers placed in the correct sets? So we are going to evaluate each answer choice, and pick our correct answer. So when we do that, we are looking at problem-solving strategies. Now, what I would say for this one is we are going to what we call guess and check. You're going to check each response and see if we find something that does not belong. So let's start with answer choice A. We have set A, which is our whole numbers. 0 is a whole number. And then we have a -4. Do you remember what a negative number would be? That's correct. It would be an integer. So if it's an integer, then it should belong in set B. So it is in the wrong place. It belongs here. So letter A is wrong. Okay, so let's check letter choice B. Let's take a look at set A. Our whole numbers have 8 and 3. Both of those look good. So let's look at the next set. Set B should have integers. -6, it's a negative, that's an integer. So let's look at our two numbers in set C, rational numbers. -4.3, decimal, perfect. -8/2. Now this one can be tricky. We need to be really careful with these because yes, it is a fraction, so it is a rational number, but we have to be careful that it is in the correct subset. So what we have to do with 8/2 is we are going to have to simplify it. So we're going to take 8/2, and there's a negative in front of it. We're going to simplify it by dividing the numerator by the denominator. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, because 2 times 4 is 8. So it looks like 8 divided by 2 gives us 4, but then it was negative, so -4. So if this is equal to -4, can you see a better place where it would belong? That is correct. It is a negative. It does not have fractions or decimals, so it should go in set B with my integers. Okay, then let's check letter choice C, since we have now seen that we do not want to select B. Let's look at the whole numbers. -5. Right away, what do you notice about the -5? Exactly, negative. So negative does not belong in whole numbers. Remember, whole numbers are only positive numbers with no fractions or decimals. and 0. So we know that this one is wrong already. So where would we put -5? Yes, it would be integers. So this number should be over here. I see another mistake, but we've already decided that this is already wrong. So it obviously will have more than one mistake, but as long as it has one mistake, we know it is wrong. So hopefully D will have the numbers in all the correct subsets. So let's take a look. Set A, again, we should have whole numbers. Number 9 is a whole number, so that is perfect. I'm loving it. And then set B has a -6. Negative in front of the 6, that's an integer. Perfect. I'm loving it. And then we have -1.6. It is negative, but it has a decimal. That means it is only a rational number, not an integer. Even though it's negative, students, a negative number, decimal number, is always rational only. So now let's look at the 2/3. Let's go ahead and make sure that we are color coding. And then we have 2/3, which is a fraction. Now remember what we said about fractions. Sometimes they can be tricky. So our best bet is to simplify by dividing the numerator by the denominator. So can 3 go into 2? No, so that would be a 0, which means I would now have to add a decimal. And if I add a decimal, I know my response is going to become a decimal number. And 6 times 3 is 18. I have 2, so I'm going to add another 0. Look at that. It looks like it is repeating. So this is a repeating decimal, and a repeating or terminating decimal is a rational number. So 2/3 is a rational number. So every single number is correct. The question, which of the following diagram shows the numbers placed in the correct sets? The answer is